everybody, Linda Carroll here from my studio, and I do hope that you have been enjoying the short videos I've been posting through the month of February for February, and I was really inspired to do this, and I set a challenge for myself to do surreal collages throughout the month of February using mostly magazine pieces, magazine art. Some of the pieces were from digital downloads, but most of them were actually out of magazines. So I'm going to continue doing the February collages throughout the month. And I think I've missed 3 or 4 that I hope to catch up with and do those. They've really inspired me in my other collage work, and that's something that we're going to work on today. You know, I think that a lot of magic that we do is organizing chaos. And in the world, if you look out, it may seem orderly, but there are an awful lot of things that to me seem chaotic in this world, and especially in the collage world. You have all these pieces, you have all these colors, you have all these shapes, you have all these themes, and plus when your imagination kicks in, you really have a variety of things to work with. So the magic comes in putting all these things together, looking at your colors, looking at how the colors work together, how they contrast, and also making sure that your composition is balanced. There are so many different ways that you can make magic in your collages by organizing the chaos. Then I know that organization is a big deal when you're doing collage work for most people. Some people work best with their pieces all over the floor, all over their desk, which is great. I have a hard time working that way, although I do have pieces all over my desk surrounding me. And these piles and boxes are also collage pieces that I have easy access to. So it's all in the way that you enjoy working. And the more chaos, there is a lot of creativity to be found in chaos, and hence there is a lot of magic too. So today I'm going to work on some magical fantasy beast mashups is what I'm calling them. And I thought it might be fun to have some pieces that you've worked on ahead of time to use in collages on a daily basis. I know when I make junk journals or journals, I have little snippets, I have little gatherings, I have tags, I have all of these things made up ahead of time to put in the journal. So I thought it might be fun to work with some animal parts and pieces and take them apart and put them back together to make some fantastic beasts. So I'm going to switch the camera around and I'll show you what I've been working with. Okay, if we take a look on my desk, these are some fantastic beast mashups that I have worked on this week, and I'll show you the book. I got this at Goodwill, and I can't remember how much I paid for it. I did not pay $12.98 for it, but it is a great book. The paper is wonderful. It's not real shiny. It's kind of a semi-gloss, so it's nicer than a magazine page to work with. But they're all different sizes of animals, and there are photographs and illustrations. And it not only has the mammals in it, but there are also bugs and sea creatures. It's just a wonderful book. So maybe if you look on eBay, or if you go to your local thrift store or thrift books, you might be able to find it for a reasonable price if you're going to cut it up. So this is what I had. And I started working with the pieces that I had in one of my scrap boxes, which was this one. And I started putting animal parts together. Like this is the blue jay, and then this is some type of horned mammal. And this one is a real mashup because I have the head and front paws of a small mammal. I have wings of a bird and the body of a bird, and I have tail of an eel. So, like I said, I've kind of started out with a bunch of animal pieces and parts, a chaotic bunch of things to work with, and then started putting these pieces together to make these new animals that can be quite odd but very appealing. Like this was a boar, and then I used a kingfisher head, and I think these are blue jay wings and tail to transform him. And then this one was a goat, and I took an owl and put an owl's face on the goat, a wing, and then you wouldn't see the other wing on the other side, and then a skunk tail. So I had lots of fun with this. And this little one, I had this magazine cut out of this chunky mermaid, and then a shell, a snail shell, and she's coming out of the shell itself. So I'm going to show you how I worked with these and what fun I had in doing that. I'm going to put these over to the side. And I did, if you don't have the animal book, I did create some collage sheets, which are available on my Etsy shop. And what I did is I chose images that would work together color-wise, and I sized them so that size-wise they could work together. Now, they do make rather large mashups, but what you can do is build your fantastic beast and scan it into your computer and size it to whatever size you want, or make it face in whichever direction you want. I usually don't allow digital collage to be used from the sheets that I made up, but I know a lot of you are into working digitally. So in the kit, I will provide ping images. If you do want to use these in digital collage, you're more than welcome to do that. So like I said, I've color corrected them, changed them, cleaned them up, and sized them so that they'll all work together to help you create this magic. Now, I have already cut out these images, and most of them are all fussy cut. Some I still have to go in and do a little bit of cutting on. I do a lot of that kind of work at night when I'm relaxing and have my feet up watching TV. So here we are with this chaos of animal bits. Now, I included whole bodies of a bird that you can work with, a reptile that you can work with, a small mammal that you can work with, a tiny mammal that you can work with, a large fish that you can work with, an owl, and a antelope. Okay, so you can work with these as a whole and find heads or tails. Like what I did when I first started working with these, I started with the whole animal, and then I had a number of other animals that I cut to pieces. So here you can put a bird head on this. Let's move these out of the way so you can actually see them. So you could put a bird head, you could put a bird head and a wing on here, and you have a fantastic creature by reassembling pieces that normally would not go together. You could also put a eel tail on this one, which would be very different. Or let's say you want to work with the small turtle. Let's see what else we have to work with here. We have this bug head that you could add to the small turtle. You just cut it at this joint. So what I'm going to do is just play around with these and see what I can come up with and show you how I work with all of these different pieces. And then if we have time, I'm going to make a collage with one of my, or maybe two of my fantastic beasts, and we can work from there. Okay, so let's say I want to start with this antelope, and I'm going to see what other head I might want to add. I really liked this one. And it does work. Now, when I put heads on things, I try to join them so that it makes some kind of sense. Okay. Now, this I would glue directly onto this deer's head, or at least most of the deer's head. So I'm going to cut this off because now I can use the deer head in another mashup. But I still have enough of an overhang here to glue my bird head onto my antelope. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue that down. And you only have to put glue on the, on the bottom edge here. And if you're using the Uhu glue, you have some working time to move these pieces around. Okay, now I've got my bird head on there. Now let's say I want to add these wings. Now the wing would kind of naturally fit behind this front leg, okay, right here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and glue my wing on. I'm going to cover my whole body. Okay, do I have anything else that I want to add? And you can just play around. And I have things facing in different directions. You could indeed have this tail from the eel. I think I like that. And like I said, I've color coordinated all these pieces so that a lot of them will fit together and make an interesting composition. All right. Now, once you get this together, you can go in with colored pencils or pens and do some detail work to help the pieces blend together. Like down here where the tail area, I want this to blend into the eel. So I'm just going to make some black strokes here so that it looks like the fur is covering that eel tail. Okay, just to help things kind of combine a little bit better. And then here I've got some blue. I bought these Sharpie pens and I haven't used them. And I might want to bring some feathers down here. Over the body. Okay, so that'll help blend these different areas together. So there's one, and if you want to, and I know I probably will, you can go around the edges with distress ink. I use Vintage Photo. And this will help blend the pieces together as well. Okay, so now if I wanted this to be a lot smaller, I can scan this into my computer and reduce the size. Actually, you can use any program. You can even use Word. Just place the image on the page and a sizing box will come up around it, and you can reduce it down. You can move it around the page and put another image on the page if you want to, so you're not wasting paper. But I'm sure I would reduce this down. But I like working large so that when I do this kind of work, I reduce it down and it even looks more fine and looks like it blends more. But also it's really difficult to put all these pieces together if they're really tiny pieces. So here's our first fellow that I really like. Let's see what we can come up with the next one. I really like this head. And I have a scorpion over here. And I'm really thinking that this head would really work really well on this scorpion. But I'm going to have to cut down here and tuck it in underneath this pincer here. Have to cut more. Okay. Now I'm just going to trim these feathers off because the pincer is going to overlap that area. And I'm just going to line it up right here with this edge. And maybe add a little bit more. There we go. And then I can cut this other pincer off. And put it up behind the bird head. Okay, so I just have a few things in here that I still need to cut out, and then we'll go ahead and put the bird head on the scorpion. Okay, I know if I saw him coming after me, I would be running. All right. And if you wanted to, you can cut the scorpion tail off and save that for another mashup. And put the eel head on the back for the tail. So, just play with these pieces and have fun with it. And just see what you can come up with. If you have to, like right here, if you need to, you can put a piece of tape or a sticky back or a piece of washi tape or whatever, or a mounting square. Just don't take the back off yet. And this is who you will come up with. Now this one for sure, I would go around it with my distress ink. And, especially if you're doing surreal collage work, these will add another dimension to your work. Plus, you're making this more your own, from your own imagination. And you'll find if you do, when you're doing this, at least I found that I just get in the flow and time just goes by. and I don't make dinner, don't even leave the studio. I just am creating new creatures. For my artwork. And in these, I did not use any human parts and pieces. You definitely can, but I'm kind of trying to stick to the animal kingdom in these pieces. Okay, so I have 2 here so far. And see how all the colors are working together? I love that. Okay, let's see what else we can come up with. I have this like nautilus shell. That I could put a deer head coming out of it. I cut out this bird claw too. It kind of reminded me of Baba Yaga's house, jumping around on chicken feet. And let's see what else could fit in here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. I love that. And if you want to make this look like his body is coming outside of the shell a little bit more, you can cut along the shell line here and kind of tuck part of the bird's body inside the shell. Hopping around on a bird foot. Just let your imagination fly and see how many of these creatures you can make. Okay, now I would go in and work with my black pen and drag some of this black down over the edge. Okay. And I'm gonna go around the edge with my vintage photo. Now you can use any animals, any, any book, any images that you have. I know I looked through my different digi downloads, and there were a number of downloads in there that have animals on them that I'm going to go through and reprint. But here is our magical creature, our fantastic creature. So in just that short time, I have these 3 creatures that I love. And all the colors go together. And how fun. I could spend all afternoon and evening creating these. All right, I have 3. Let's see what else I can come up with. What am I going to use my fish with? My fish. That looks very interesting. I'm thinking that I can switch heads and have the fish head on the bird body here and the bird head on the fish body here. It's just a matter of where it would be best to cut this and have it work. The width of the bodies are about the same right here. So let's see what happens. Nice thing about these digitals is if you make a mistake, you can just reprint it. And try again. Well, that's kind of stretching it, I have to say, but it is pretty fantastical. And let's see how this little birdie is here. I actually like that a lot. Okay, I have to do this. I have to put the fishtail on here. I just must. So in this one, I'm actually going to go in and cut these feathers some so that they will hang out over top of the fish. And then I can go in with my pens and do some more work. There is a very, very odd and fantastic creature. And then what are we going to do with this bird fish? Let's see. I have, this is just printed out on copy paper. But we could put a frou-frou tail and legs on the back of this fish. Let's see how that works. I might really like that. And I think you can see why now it's important. You know, I took the time to size all these animal parts and pieces and the whole animals and everything so that you could easily interchange them and things would be, you know, look right perspective wise. I'm just going to rough fussy cut this. So here you are creating all of your own new species of characters for your collages. And, you know, what fun. What fun is this? Okay. This one. This one. I think this is my favorite. The Scorpio. And this one. And here they are. And like I said, I could go on all afternoon and be creating new fantastic beasts to be used in my collages.